Good morning and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I got a story for y'all. It's story time. I felt like I need to tell y'all a little bit about myself and my epilepsy and when my journey started. So it started about 13 years ago. I remember I was babysitting and I woke up the next morning and I couldn't remember, like, when did I go to bed? I feel like I had been partying for 2 days straight, didn't take a break, changed my clothes, jumped cities. Like, I felt like a lot had went on the night before. So I go to the bathroom like I normally do first thing in the morning, and on my way back from the bathroom, this side of my face looked like somebody had drugged me. So my headache instantly gets worse, and then I feel the pain in my face. So I realized, I remember I was babysitting, so I went and I checked the little boy, and he has on his PJs, and he's fine. He gets up, and he gets to playing like kids do. He gets to jumping, falling, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, right now, let me call your mom. Calls mom. She's not available, which makes sense because she went out the night before, so she's probably rested. So I call a friend, I get my clothes on, and I have someone take me to the ER. I go to the ER, I come in, they look at my face, they told me to stick out my tongue, and the first thing they realized is that my tongue was all bit up. Like, when I say bit up, chunks was bit up. It was gross. So they said, oh, you had a seizure. Do you have a history of seizures? Seizure? No, that's never happened. So I go see the physician, and one of the nurses was a childhood friend of, well, actually not a childhood friend, but someone I went to college with. So he was like, I'll just let him sit right here with me. And after the being examined, they let me know I have seizures. I need to see a neurologist to see if this is going to be a consistent thing. And the gentleman I went to school with was basically like, he saw you have the seizures. And after taking some thought, putting some thought into it, I'm like, you know what he did? Because he kept jumping up and falling down. So I get him to his mom. I go back home for a minute, and then I'm walking around my apartment, and I see like patches of blood in the carpet. So, I clean that up. Me, my brother, sister, and my mom usually have Sunday dinners or something, but it's pretty early. So me, my brother, and sister go to IHOP because my mom had to work. Sorry, I needed a coffee break. So after, no, we go to IHOP. I'm sorry, guys. We go to IHOP, and at IHOP, I remember getting my food, and the next thing I remember is waking up in the hospital. My sister said it was something like a scary movie. Like, my head kind of twisted. My eyes rolled in the back of my head. My head kind of twisted really weird. And I was in a seizure so long that one of the gentlemen there, he was 16. He did CPR on me until the EMTs came. So I never knew his name. My sister tried to get his information. We never knew who it was. I say it's an angel because we couldn't figure out who it was. We couldn't find him, called up there, everything. He saved my life. So, hey, if it was an angel and he just disappeared out of thin air, I like that too. However, to the gentleman who saved my life, if he ever comes across my page, thank you. IHOP, Indianapolis, West 38th Street. Okay, back to the story. So I go through this series of going to the hospital, having seizures, getting a neurologist, being diagnosed with temporal epilepsy. My life starts to change because I'm working a job. I really love this job. However, I remember the manager coming to me and saying, you need to go part-time. You've been having a lot of medical issues. I'm like, I have insurance, I have FMLA. There's no need for me to go part-time. After that, I was basically pushed out of my job. An incident happened. I had a seizure at work, but no one knew. And an incident happened where basically they said that I went off on a lady, which could or could not be true, like one of my coworkers. But I also did tell them I wasn't feeling well. And I feel like they were just like, she's a liability, let's get her out of here. They could have just fired me like a normal person. They didn't have to say that I was irate and all this other stuff, one lady who testified of me being irate, I swear to you, she was outside when I left. And what she said to me, she was smoking a cigarette in the parking lot. And what she said to me is, "Oh, why are you leaving? Do you not feel well?" And I'm like, "No, I don't feel well. I'm going home. I'll see y'all tomorrow." Well, I received a call saying not to come to work until the big boss gets in. So I kept calling, kept calling. Finally, they called me into the office and said they were letting me go. So one of the managers under the big boss, was basically like, you can file a claim. And I'm like, at this point in my life, I got a lot going on. I'm not doing that. Go home. I'm fine. My brother ends up moving in because everybody was worried about me. So he was like, I can stay there for a little while until you figure this out. I remember waking up one morning and asking my brother to give me my meds. He brings them in there. I don't wear clothes a lot of times, so I was naked, but I was wrapped up in my blanket. Ain't no funny stuff going on. And I remember him handing me the meds, and next thing I remember, no joke, I woke up with like 6 firefighters around me. Most of them women, so I was like, am I dreaming? But anywho, I had clothes on, and I felt like I traumatized my brother. They took me to the hospital. When I got out the hospital, basically my family was like, you're moving. We already packing your stuff. You're going to mommy's house. You can't stay here by yourself. I'm the oldest sibling, so I'm like, y'all ain't gonna tell me what to do. But I did it anyway. I've had seizures in weird places. I've scared the shit out of family and friends. I've lost people, like people I had started talking to, and then they knew I had a seizure, but they wasn't aware of how bad it could be. So then, we're no longer talking, which I'm okay with that, because I tell God all the time to weed them out, weed them out. So that was just someone being weeded out of my life. I've had a seizure behind the wheel. I would never forget, I totaled my car, and I did not care about that damn car. The first thing I said is, did I hurt anybody? And everyone was ignoring me. And then one of the EMTs, a black lady, was like, no, sweetie, no one was involved in the accident with you. You just hit a parked vehicle. And I passed out after that because my soul was content. Like, I didn't hurt anyone. Thank you, Lord. So after that, mind you, I was moving to Georgia that same week, and the car still had the dealer tags on them. That's how new the car was. So I still ended up moving to Georgia that same weekend because fortunately some of my family members were going to Georgia to visit other family members. So I get there and it's cool, but I'm still having seizures. I don't have a job. I didn't have a car. And once I got a job that I liked, I lost the job. It was a bill collector, and I'm not good at harassing people about bills for companies that no longer exist. So I lost that job. I came back to Indy to visit, and I had a substitute teaching license. So I just ended up staying. I went back to school, got my bachelor's degree. About 5 years later, I didn't do it right away, but I'm just saying my life became more stable, and I was grateful for that. But my story, the beginning process of finding out that you have temporal lobe epilepsy, I felt crazy. I had sleepwalking issues. I lost a lot of weight. I couldn't eat, and this was all due to medications that they gave me. Eventually, I started snipping those medications. Like, I'm not taking this does this. I'm not taking this does this. I'm not taking this does this. So eventually I ended up on 2 medications that work good for me. They don't cause me any problems with depression or just feeling psychotic at times, because epilepsy, especially when you get into the galactic phase of temporal lobe epilepsy, it'll have you thinking your ass is crazy. Imagine feeling anxiety out of nowhere just punch you in the chest. That's how I feel before I have every seizure. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope to tell you guys more. Peace. Happy Tuesday.